All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Captain Brent McGuire from LAPD's Harbor Division. Thank you all for coming out to the Harbor Community Police Station. We have some very important news that we would like to announce to our community members that is of mutual benefit for all of them. So with that, I'm going to introduce Deputy Chief Amada Tingrides from Operations South Bureau.
Thank you, Brent. Good morning. My name is Amada Tingrides, and I am the commanding officer of Operations South Bureau. This press conference has been arranged to announce the arrest of a multiple murder suspect who was responsible for a series of violent crimes in Harbor City and San Pedro during September and October of 2023. Before we begin, I would like to extend my condolences to the families, some of which that are here today, and sympathy for all of the surviving victims. 3 murders and 5 attempted murders have been committed. The harm that this series of crimes has caused cannot be understated. It is important for our community to know what has occurred, and more importantly, to join together to denounce senseless acts of violence in our communities. I'm going to ask Captain Bennett, who's the commanding officer of South Bureau Homicide, to provide details of these crimes which have resulted in an arrest. With that, Captain Jamie Bennett.
Good morning. My name is Captain Jamie Bennett. I'm the commanding officer of LAPD's Operations South Bureau. I would like to briefly describe the crimes which have occurred and culminated in this arrest. On September 4th, 2023, during the early evening, Los Angeles police officers responded to an ambulance shooting call in the 1000 block of West 253rd Street in Harbor City. They located 21-year-old Carlos Loera and 18-year-old Ashley Guzman at the location. Both of these young parents had been shot and were gravely injured. Carlos and Ashley both died as a result of this shooting. As the investigation progressed, officers learned that their 1-year-old child, who was seated inside of their vehicle at the time of this murder, was also struck by gunfire. Miraculously, the child was in his car seat, and the bullet passed through the car seat, slowing its velocity and not causing mortal injury or severe injury to the child. On September 30th, just before midnight, Los Angeles police officers responded to an ambulance shooting in the 1200 block of North Park Western Drive in San Pedro. At this scene, they located 4 people who had been shot. 17-year-old Joseph Saldana was among those injured and died as a result of his wounds. 2 adult males and an adult female were also seriously injured by gunfire. And in our third incident on October 2nd, 2023, during the afternoon, Los Angeles police officers responded to an ambulance shooting at Blinn and Coyle Avenues in Wilmington. Officers discovered a 43-year-old man who had been shot and was seriously injured. South Bureau Homicide detectives Rob Fraga, Herbert Ibanez, Blake Putinans, and Blake McCulhey were assigned responsibility for the homicides and are standing alongside me. The investigation that they conducted linked these 3 incidents, which cumulatively have resulted in 3 deaths and 5 attempted murders. On Monday, January 22nd, 2024, this week, an operation was completed which led to the arrest of Dion Johnson, a 20-year-old man who has been apprehended for this series of crimes. The aforementioned detectives relentlessly investigated these cases, and I would like to acknowledge and thank them and all of our South Bureau Homicide team for their effort to bringing justice to the victims. The severity of these crimes cannot be understated. I would now like to introduce Deputy District Attorney Bobby Grace, who's going to speak on behalf of the prosecutor's office.
Thank you. Good morning. As stated, my name is Bobby Grace. I am an assistant head deputy for the Community Violence Reduction Division. That's a group that does vertical prosecution of gang crimes. As stated by the captain, the LA County District Attorney's Office has filed charges with respect to the suspect. In this case, we filed 3 counts of murder, and we also filed 5 counts of attempted murder. That prosecution will go forward, and we look forward to being able to successfully prosecute this case in court. The LA County District Attorney's Office wants to extend our condolences at this time to the family of Ashley Guzman, to the family of Carlos Loera, and to the family of Joseph Saldana, and also all of the victims who were harmed by this. We will also like to thank the detectives that worked on this case. We work very closely with all of the detectives in the LAPD South Bureau Homicide, and they do an excellent job. Unfortunately, you had a 17-year-old who was murdered. You had a young couple who was trying to raise a family who were murdered, and you have a young son who has to go through his life now without his parents. And this is something that nobody wants to see, and the LA County District Attorney's Office pledges to work with the Los Angeles Police Department, our other justice partners, and the community to make sure that we can try to stem some of this violence to our young people. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to invite up Council Member Tim McCosker, who represents the affected areas.
Thank you very much, Captain. My name's Tim McCosker, and I represent this district, which we call the 1-5. We're one district, and I represent 5 beloved communities. I represent Watts and Harbor Gateway, and today, solemnly, I represent Wilmington, Harbor City, and San Pedro. For the 260,000 souls in this district, think of how we are all injured, not all in the same way, but I represent 3 communities that had havoc and violence and chaos senselessly wreaked on them. In Harbor City, we lost 2 beloved family members, Carlos and Ashley. In San Pedro, we lost a beloved family member, Joseph. And we had in Wilmington more chaos by a criminal who wreaked havoc on our entire harbor community over a course of just a few weeks. Think about that timing. Over a course of a few weeks, 3 murders and 5 attempted murders. The damage that that does to our community, but we remember the victims. There are 3 homicide victims. There are 5 more people that were shot. But very importantly, think about the loving family members who are affected every day for the rest of their lives. Today gives us an opportunity to stand up for the family, to stand up for the next generation of this family and for generations of this family. And I'm grateful that Kathy Familetti and LaWanda Hawkins and so many other folks are here today, but particularly LaWanda and Kathy, who stick up every day, every way for victims of violence. We need to be in partnership all together. I appreciate that LAPD has done a terrific job. I know that the DA will do a terrific job. But we all need to be together on this. The reason, I'm quite sure that the reason there are arrests, that there is an arrest, that we're going to seek justice and we're going to gain some measure of justice is because people have come forward and given information. I encourage everybody to do so every time there's an act of violence in our community, until there's no longer acts of violence in our community. I'm grateful to the LAPD. I'm grateful to the DA. I am grateful to for the bravery of the family and for your strength. I cannot know how you feel, but I can see at the moments after these shootings, when we had time together in community, and today, I know how committed you are to the memory of your loved ones. And on behalf of the city, working together with the county, the district attorney, and with private organizations, we'll commit to you to do whatever we can to bring justice and to work towards a day where this never happens to anybody, where nobody has to join this partnership, this community of families who have lost loved ones. So God bless you. Thank you to everyone for being here. This also reminds us of how important it is to get guns off of the street. It is too easy to get a gun. It is too easy for cowards, like the person who was arrested, to wreak so much havoc over a short period of time. We need to all work together to get guns out of the hands of the cowards that cause this harm in our community. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to invite a member of the Guzman family to speak. It's my understanding that someone may have wanted to talk. Okay, if not, Saldana family, does anyone want to speak?
Hello. On my behalf of the family of the Joseph Saldana, we would like to thank the LAPD Harbor Division homicide detectives, the LAPD, and all other agencies involved for your diligent and relentless work that helped bring justice for Joseph and other victims. Joseph was an innocent victim that was visiting family when his life was tragically taken. He was a sweet and loving boy that lit up a room with his beautiful smile. Sorry. He had just graduated from high school and was in the process of starting college and his first job. He had his entire life in front of him until it was stripped away by a senseless act of violence. Today I stand here not with my godson by my side, but with his ashes around my neck. Today is a bittersweet day. It brings relief to know that justice will be served, but that empty void in our hearts will remain forever. We thank God for hearing our prayers, as Joseph Isaiah Saldana's death will not be in vain. Thank you. I'm sorry, I don't know Spanish.
Could you tell us your name and spell it, please?
Monique Vasquez, Monique, last name Vasquez, Vasquez. Thank you.
I would like to invite any other family members who would wish to speak to come forward. Is there anyone else? At this time, we also have a Spanish speaker available if we'd like to do that.
Hola, mi nombre es Oficial Beas. Soy investigador de homicidios de la Oficina Sur. Esta conferencia de prensa se organizó para anunciar el arresto de un sospechoso de asesinato múltiples. Fue responsable de una serie de crímenes violentos en Harbor City y San Pedro. Durante septiembre y octubre del 2023. Antes de comenzar, me gustaría expresar mi más sentido pésame a las familias de las víctimas. Se han cometido 3 asesinatos y 5 intentos de asesinato. Es importante que nuestra comunidad sepa lo que ha ocurrido y, más importante, denunciar la violencia. Me gustaría describir los crímenes que han ocurrido y han culminado en un arresto. El día 4 de septiembre de 2023, en la tarde, agentes de la Policía de Los Ángeles respondieron a un tiroteo localizado en la calle 223 en Harbor City. Localizaron Carlos Loera, de 21 años, y Ashley Guzman, de 18 años, en el lugar. Ambos recibieron disparos y estaban gravemente heridos. Carlos y Ashley murieron de sus heridas. Les dijeron los oficiales que su hijo estaba dentro de su vehículo en el momento del asesinato. También fue herido. El asiento de niños fue golpeado, pero paró la velocidad de la bala. El niño sufrió lesiones menos graves. El 30 de septiembre de 2023, agentes de la Policía de Los Ángeles respondieron a un tiroteo en la calle Norte Park Western en San Pedro. Ellos localizaron a 4 personas que resultaron heridos por disparos. Joseph Saldana, de 17 años, se encontró entre los heridos y murió de sus heridas. 2 hombres adultos y una mujer adulta gravemente heridos por los disparos. El 2 de octubre de 2023, durante la tarde, agentes de la Policía de Los Ángeles respondieron a un tiroteo en Lakme Avenue y Coyle Avenue en la ciudad de Wilmington. Un hombre de 43 años recibió disparos y fue gravemente herido. Los detectives de homicidio de la Oficina Sur, Rob Fraga, Eber Ibáñez, Blake Puttins y Blake McCahey, recibieron responsabilidad de la investigación de estos homicidios. Y ellos están aquí a mi lado. El lunes 22 de enero de 2024 se completó una operación y arrestaron a Dion Johnson, un hombre de 20 años, por estos delitos. Los detectives antes mencionados en esta investigación lo queremos reconocer ahora, y todo el equipo de homicidio de Oficina Sur por su esfuerzo para hacer justicia a las familias. Gracias.
I'm prepared to answer any questions that the media may have.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
2 questions for you. One, can you speak to the motive of these shootings, and does the shooter fit the profile of a serial killer, since you have so many attempted murders and 3 murders in Japan?
It's my opinion that the murders were likely gang motivated. The suspect in this case was a gang member.
And as far as the motive?
I believe it was in furtherance of the gang.
Sir, did this suspect have a prior criminal record and was gang member, but
He did have a prior criminal record. Our suspect had arrests in Las Vegas for robbery and shooting into an inhabited dwelling. After he served time for those offenses, he came to the Los Angeles area and then these crimes ultimately occurred.
Did he have any connections whatsoever with any of the victims that he shot?
Not that I'm aware of.
So no connections with any of the victims at all? It was just random?
I'm not aware of connections, but
Were there going to be special circumstances attached to this prosecution?
I would have to defer that over to our district attorney for response.
So that's a decision that'll have to be made down the line. The district attorney has a policy that he looks at those charges on a case-by-case basis. There's a lot of work that we have to do in terms of looking into that, and so we'll make a decision on that at a later time.
Has he already been arraigned?
He has not been arraigned yet.
When is he going to be arraigned?
I believe that he's due back in court in February, early February, for arraignment.
Can you talk to us about how he was arrested, the circumstances surrounding the arrest?
No, I don't think it would be appropriate to talk about the details of that at this time, because we don't want the public to prejudge anything or give an opinion on that yet, but there was probable cause to arrest him, and we feel that there's sufficient evidence to go forward with respect to this case.
And where was he arrested?
When or where?
Where was he arrested?
He was arrested here in Los Angeles.
Are we going to be able to get a booking photo?
If you contact LAPD, they may be able to help you with respect to that.
Can we contact you now and ask you if you guys can give us a booking photo?
I need to consult with our investigators. My fear in releasing something like that would be that if any witnesses come forward based on this conference today, I would like the opportunity for us to be able to further this investigation. So at this time, I'm not comfortable releasing a booking photo.
Yeah. And there may be additional investigation that needs to go on in that case. So releasing a booking photo may compromise that.
Are there any additional suspects?
Evidence suggests that there may be other individuals that are involved. But again, I don't want to get into the details of that because I don't want to compromise the investigation by these detectives.
Could you please provide the spelling of the suspect's name?
Dion Johnson, common spelling.
Does he have a Los Angeles address?
Sir, can you talk about the charges specifically for the child that was shot? What are the specific charges?
Attempted murder.
Anything else?
That's the only charge that related to that particular count, attempted murder.
Would it be fair to say that all of the victims were innocent bystanders targeted specifically by these suspects?
I don't want to go beyond what the captain has said with respect to the circumstances of the case. Clearly, it appears that it was gang-related, but I wouldn't want to say anything more than that.
And I would just like to clarify that.
Could you step up to the microphone?
I also would like to respond to the question regarding gang involvement. You know, I cannot get into the mind of the individual that did this offense. What I do know is that he was a gang member. As to our victims, I don't believe that they, you know, they're innocent people who were killed by a man who was motivated seemingly by his gang affiliation.
Would you tell us again how was the arrest?
I'm sorry.
How you guys arrest this guy?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of the mechanics of how we did it, other than he was arrested on Monday, January 22nd, here in the Los Angeles area.
All right, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you coming out. We'll have some folks available if you guys want to do some off-camera stuff.